just trying to share the info.
Game 2.
Top right-hand side, our blue Zerg player. This is going to be Reynor from Kaiser Gearing. Bottom left, Red Protoss player is Creator. Map 1 of this best of 3. Well, best of 2, sorry. Oh my god, I called the best of 2 best of 3. No! I am one with the Twitch chat. I am the problem I complain about. Crap. You guys got me. You got me real good. Alright, let's see what Reynor gets done. I mean, you expect Reynor to be... I mean, he's the team ace. He's the strong player. I think this is what we expect to see. I think it made sense to save time for later. Some Terran maps in a row a bit later on. Sorry, to save time for later and to save money for later. I think you got a lot of Terran options further down the line. I think that makes a lot of sense to kind of keep them in store and to wait it out. Let's see if Creator can get a map. You know, honestly, I feel like you go 1-1 here, you're still in great shape, right? That's all you need to be looking for, that 1-1. Go 1-1, go from there. Creator and Reynor, let's have a look at their history. And see how often these guys play. Most recently, Creator did beat Reynor in the ESL Open Cup Korea on the 7th of August. Wow, that was last week. Wow, so I didn't even realize Reynor played in that, but Creator got a 2-1 victory over him. That actually worries me for Creator, because to me, that says that Creator is, that says that Creator's probably, like, Reynor probably has something to prove, you know? Reynor's gonna go, like, Super Saiyan mode, because when Reynor loses to someone, he very rarely loses to someone twice in a row, you know? He's very good at figuring out his faults. I mean, oftentimes, even within a series, right? A lot of the times, Reynor loses the first map of a best of 5, first 2 maps, but he comes back strong because he's so good at identifying the problems and fixing the faults. So you give him a week after losing to Creator, and I'm pretty sure Reynor probably has some good solutions as to what he's going to come out with and, you know, what he's looking to deal with here. So that said, I do imagine every player on Team NV have some idea of what they're going to play against Reynor, should they play him. You know, because obviously there's no guarantee Reynor wasn't going to be sent first, right? For DRG, for example. You know? There's got to be plans. There's got to be plans in place, because Team NV know that Reynor is going to be the biggest hurdle they have to jump over in this series. And they've had all day to plan, of course. I mean, I know they just finished playing yesterday, but they will have had a good few hours throughout the day-to-day to plan. I'm sure they've probably been working together, figuring some stuff out, trying to decide some strategy, because the World Team League, it's a big thing, guys. There's a lot of prize money on the line. These players take it very seriously, and Team NV have clearly been very happy to represent their team one final time. Team will disband after today's grand final. It's almost like a fairy tale story, only they're gonna go all the way, and then DPG are just gonna send out Rogue, who's like, oh, it's my last time playing StarCraft. Let me just make it another disappointing final, 7-0. All kills NV, kills the dream, kills the storyline. Then he just walks off into the sunset saying, yeah, I'm going to go to the military now. See you in 2 years to ruin some more finals, bros. I feel like that's the storyline we're headed towards right now, as a couple of drones go down. Already 3 died as well initially, so that's 5 kills off the start. Now 6. Great opening here from Creator. Going to go Oracle into that Void Ray. That's something which he is very fond of doing. Reynor, one of the best players at scrapping his way back into games, however. He's someone that really does enjoy playing. Oh, he actually cancelled the Void Ray, then got supply blocked. Supply block's pretty nasty for the second Oracle. Yeah, he is someone that is very good at playing from behind as well. He's very good at kind of playing the advantage. He didn't cancel the Void Ray, finished. Sorry, guys. For some reason, they were like pointing at the production tab like it was cancelled. It's mostly just the supply block, I guess, holding back that second Oracle, so... Rogue's going to the military soon? Yes, to the point where he didn't even qualify, or didn't even try to qualify for GSL, because it is very, very close, so... Seemingly, it seems like he'll be able to play until the end of this month, at least, because he is signed up to my tournament, and he knows the dates, and right now it seems as though he is going to be able to play all of the dates, should he keep on advancing, so probably at the start of next month or so, Rogue is going to be off to the military. This could... yeah, this will be his last time representing DPG in a team match, I imagine. Yeah, he literally plays... So he plays tomorrow in the WardiTV group. But, he plays tomorrow, but I actually have to cast that another day because of the TSL group that came about, the replacement for Neep. So that's the cast of that will be a little bit delayed, and then the playoffs are in a couple weeks' time. So in theory, it shouldn't be. Today's not going to be Rogue's last ever appearance. We already know that because he's got another tournament, at least tomorrow, if nothing else. But obviously, he is probably his last time playing a team match for TPG, which is kind of wild. Wow. I mean, the drone kills this game have been incredible, as Reynor's supply is just in the gutter right now. He's been losing so many drones, and we actually lose an Oracle, but boy, for the amount of drones we've killed, I'm going to go ahead and say that Korea's in a pretty good spot. Reynor is in actually some serious trouble here. No, I'm talking about Rogue. Prism on the win. Yeah, we got Twilight and a Forge behind this. I actually think that right now, this is a push which is like trying to fake Reynor out into units. But actually, like, if he'd actually committed to some kind of a push, because he did a variation of this that was an 8-gate. If he actually did this as an 8-gate with the amount of stuff he killed, I think he would have won the game right now, Creator. Instead, this game will go on, and that's going to give Reynor a chance to get back in. Well, like I said, that's kind of sad because he's been using this build kind of repeatedly, and like I say, 2 variations of it, the 8-gate and the Twilight Forge follow-up, which leads you into your upgrades and your, all the rest of it. I genuinely feel if you went for the 8-gate version, he would have had a W on the board right now because Reynor would have been dead with all the drones he lost. Going to see Voidray down the bottom side, and just going to see the Overseer coming to scout on through. Last quick question from the chat before we fully focus on this game, just because we've got a little bit more combat. The TSL matches tomorrow will be on my channel, guys, so I'll be right here on my channel. Hopefully a nice long stream tomorrow, TSL matches into the TSL Open Cup. Okay, one last question. How responsible have the Koreans been about playing my leagues? Pretty responsible. The Koreans are usually better than most. The Koreans usually cause the least issues, to be honest. Few Zealots show up as the Prism sits there kind of healthy. I was wondering if the Prism was getting shot, but it was the Zealot losing HP. I couldn't see the Prism's HP because it was blocked by the workers on the Extractor. Yeah, a little bit of damage, a little bit of trading out. Creator just more massing up an army, honestly. As he hits +1 charge, and if he commits... I mean, Reynor's about to build a bunch of Mutalisks, right? And so his supply is about to burst forwards. And Creator's now going to have to deal with these mutas. He's already starting to build Phoenix, man. I feel like he's already somewhat aware of what's going on. He's got a little bit of a read. If he already has 2 to 3 Phoenix by the time the mutas first arrive, this becomes so much less of a problem here for Creator. He gets confirmation it's a spy, so he'll keep building Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Reynor's already built the mutas, so Scout or not, there's no going back on that, right? It is coming across the map as we do see a lot of roaches at the same time, but if you don't have to send your main army after the mutas, you just have your main army in great position to deal with these roaches. It's not going to do much at all. Creator is very well prepared, and Reynor is just not finding much of anything right now. This game is definitely not going too great for him as the mutas fly in, getting a couple of probes already. Once you do have to micro these Phoenix, don't want to just give them up or anything for free. We're going to lose one. We actually need to start killing some of the mutas at least, though. We get a couple. Not the best moment or two there from Creator. Force fields here are good for your roach kills. Crows of Bowels will not connect as we chase forward a little bit as well, even. So, moving on with that. Infestation Pit is going to be finishing up on the top side. Roach Ravager going to come in with the mutas. The mutas walk into Archon Fire. Not pretty. Obviously, having to build a couple extra Phoenix doesn't feel great right now, as we are finally getting in towards Banes as well, so we're getting into the full force of this army. But look at the army of Creator, man. It's a lot of Archon and Mortal. Resources lost is massively in Creator's favor right now. As we press on forwards, the Bane's on the counterattack, so if Creator is actually just going to fully focus going forwards, yeah, instantly pulls as well to start saving as many of these probes as he can. He might have to split away a few here as the Banes are going to start hitting that mineral line. And the bottom side, how many probes is that? 19 go down, 20. We're not done just yet. That would have been a great picture-in-picture moment, guys. Chinese production team, I know you're good enough to do that. At the same time, obviously, Creator's trying to push in over on this side. He just lost a lot of work because it's important he does find some damage in this moment as Archons and Immortals have work to do. It's mostly Roaches. Couple of Ravages in here. The Immortals just had some of their barriers popped. Zealot's still alive as the Balins have been wiped out. A lot of Archons here against these few Zerglings. Corrosive Vials. Creator dodges away, but this has just not been the fight for him at all. Reynor actually just dominates this fight and having a lot of reproduction on the way. Creator's going to actually stand strong at the very end here. The very end of this is actually looking the best for Creator. His supply stopped dropping. He's got units kind of everywhere. He's going to send a few more Zealots off the other side. I feel like he needs to decide right now what he wants to do. He's not going to finish off that hatchery. That's maybe not the end of the world. Where did the Zealots end up going? Did they just get picked off? It seems like it. We need to save these Immortals, get them into the Prism, start actually protecting them. 21 drones have died. Creator is actually probably going to be okay because he finally found the drone damage needed. Save the Immortals, Creator. You've got to micro those up. You've got to keep them going. Couple of Archons showing up as well. Need to keep the Prism alive now, too. Reynor is going to find a hold. I mean, this really didn't feel like it should have been good for Reynor at all, but that's the power of Reynor. He's so good at taking these fights. I mean, Creator, so much to look at in that fight as well, right? Like, Creator just didn't take a good fight initially. He was actually getting beat down horribly. He was really good at responding to the Banelings initially, but then he ignored them after he initially pulled away. And there was so many, they weren't just going to disappear, right? Loses an Archon Morphin in the front there as well. Oh, this was such a... He could have micro too. It just feels like such a doable game for Creator. I mean, the micro potential on the Prism just wasn't utilized at all. That was very lackluster. I just feel like if you give Creator this fight a second time around, it's completely dominant from him, in all honesty, because like he had everything he needed to have a great fight and have a great time. His army was terrifying. I just didn't understand. Like at one point, I was like, man, he's got so many Immortals, and they just weren't doing anything. And he also spent so much time hitting the hatchery, which he never finished killing off. Don't think he necessarily had to kill the hatchery off. But obviously that's then a lot of wasted damage that could have been on Roaches and stuff. If that was all on Roaches or whatever else, then he would have had another 20 supply killed. As we started recovering this game, Reynor instantly gets his economy back online. And at this point, it is terrifying for Creator, because these are the points where Reynor really does start to play some of his very best StarCraft 2. Like, he gets terrifying in these situations. This Prism is going to get chased away. Queen's going to just hunt that down pretty much immediately, so that Prism is just trying to escape out of there. Really not going too well. As you got the Archons, the Zealots all joining back up. Full corrosive vial action as we are going to be seeing the Archons coming through. A couple of Zealots coming by. Archons here do defend against this Balin run by. If Creator can hold on 4 bases, obviously this shouldn't be terrible for him. Like, this should still be playable. It's just nowhere near the position it used to be for him, as Reynor's now getting Adrenal Glands online, plus 2 missiles. These are all things that go a long way in a game like this to just giving you better fights, better trades pretty much throughout. And that definitely has to be seen as a pretty sizable part of the problem. Pick up my Banes, Archons as well. Just gonna get knocked away at here, just gonna be having the super battery to protect, but that is the super battery then on cooldown, so that's something Creator has to keep in mind as well. And Reynor's just rich, guys. 88 workers. Well, this might pull him back. The Prism in the main base going to warp in a ton of Zealots. I mean, he was already on his way back, but yeah, and he's actually going to be able to spot the Greater Spire here. If he doesn't spot the Greater Spire, that's a tragedy. He does just spot it. Don't know if he pays enough attention to it to really notice it per se. He's pushing at the top side with the rest of his army, and Reynor just sent a lot over to the main base. What does Reynor actually have to defend over here? I actually feels like not really anything. And if he just used his Banelings... okay. Reynor might actually be in a little bit of trouble again. 5th base of Reynor does go down. 15 new Banelings are morphing. Creator, what do we want to do? His army's applying the lead. As Lings are spawned, it's just so Roach heavy from Reynor, and the Immortal count is back up to being great. I'd love this for Creator if I hadn't already seen him screw up one fight. There's 40 morphing Banelings. It's a lot of Banes. It's a lot of firepower in just one army. Extra Stalkers warping in as Creator maintains an army supply lead. He sees all of these morphing Banes. He's spreading out to kind of take different fights or to surround, but he's going to get jumped on completely. He needs to get the rest of his army up here. Oh, the couple of Ravagers are going to look for the Prism. That is going to die. No, he actually gets the Prism out of there. The Zealots are still running, by the way. They're just trying to stay out of the way. This army on the bottom is not there. All of his Immortals are on the bottom side. Creator, get them into the fight. He's had 8 Immortals. Just, no, what are you doing, Creator? Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. No. Oh my goodness. Look how good this fight's going to be for him, even though it was so terrible up until now. Reynor is only reinforced with Roachling. It might still be good enough, which is how ridiculously good this should have been for Creator. He's just taking the worst possible fights he can. Oh my goodness, I'm actually standing up shouting at my screen because he's got a winning position. He's just not doing the right things at all. There's 2 major fights in this game that Creator's lost. I still think he's potentially winning because his army is so good. He never lost any of the important units here. He dealt with what was a massive round of Banes. That was a major investment from Reynor. Like, even those couple of Immortals that were on their own somehow didn't die. These Banelings are going to get dealt with. And again, that means the Zealots can now come forward and tank successfully. Now we just have to back up, get the Zealots in front because the Banelings are gone. And this should be a good fight for Creator. Let's see if he can make it work out. Corrosive Biles are not doing too well just yet. He's going to back away as Ravagers did zone a little bit there. It's just not good enough, is it? Corrosive Biles keep coming out. He needs a few more. Honestly, at this point, just Zealots, right? There's nothing that's good against Zealots. He's warping in more Stalkers. I mean, if it does come down to pure Ravager, it's so flimsy that it will just kind of start dying. Creator is still warping in. Still keeping this going. Stalker's blinking back as he tries to find extra value. He's got a couple of his tech units in that top side. He's so afraid to bring his Prism forward because he's afraid of a Prism being sniped, which I don't disagree with. And he wants to keep the warp-ins going, but it's affecting him because he can't micro the units. He can't get them out of the fight. These 2 Immortals are stuck. One was hitting the hatchery. Is he going to be able to get them out? 85 to 50 army supply right here as we continue to fight through. So much Roach Ravager. He's going to get the hatchery with the Stalkers. Reynor has a base on the right side because it took Creator so long to do this. I don't know if Creator is realistically in a position to turn and fight at all. I think it has to be kind of an evacuation mode, which obviously is likely to not be great. My goodness. Well, he's warping in over that right-hand side, and the Prism will get a warp in so he can surround this Ravager force. Too late, though, maybe? Oh, my goodness. I mean, Ravagers generally have been so vulnerable in this game. They've been exposed so many times. The Lings get on top of an Immortal. Creator's army is wiped out again. He's still only on 4 bases, too, so it's not like he's really set up to play a long game. Ravagers keep on dropping here. I think Reynor has done it, guys. I just can't believe what this was. I mean, like I say, just truly ridiculous. Creator had, in this game, 2 fights, which should have been so amazing for him, and I actually can't get over the fights and what happened, no? I just cannot get over what happened in some of these engagements. Like, his army was so good. If he has all of these Immortals on that bottom side come into play, I think he has the W for sure. Yeah, I'm out of words, guys. I'm kind of out of words. I only being a bit biased, I guess, towards Creator because upsets are fun, right? Team NV storyline is very fun. But, yeah, I gotta say that I think Creator lost this game a lot more. I mean, credit to Reynor, he turned it around, but I think Creator lost this game, like, more than Reynor won it because he had so many good opportunities. I feel like he got past all the scary parts. Like, he survived against, like, the 40 Banelings. It was pure Ling Roach. GG's. I hope Creator never looks at this replay. Because I feel like if he looks at this replay, he's going to lose all of his confidence. Get Creator against Reynor, if you can just find a 1-1 situation, you're genuinely pretty happy. We're going to play on inside and out. I will say about the last map, in terms of how that map plays, it's obviously a map which is very much so... It's a map that really does kind of lend itself to kind of being a bit larger. It is tougher to push across. Some of the bases are more difficult to engage into as well. And that's got to be something of a factor there as to why Creator had so many struggles. But there was moments where the map didn't matter. Like, again, that fight that started with all of these Immortals, like, it was like 6-7 Immortals just on the south side hitting rocks. And at some point, they weren't even hitting rocks. He just didn't bring them back up to the main portion of his army. And then they had to fight on their own. Yeah, that game was kind of crazy. We get ready for game 2. As we set up inside now, create a no scout. Let's Reynor take the normal hatchery location. I don't think... I mean, Creator has glaved this weekend. Right? Or has he done Stargate every time? I actually think Creator Stargate every time. I think Astrea did glaves. Just trying to think who did what, guys. trying to just think who did what and where, you know? It's been a lot of good games this weekend as well. As we get into game number 2. We'll just get our expansion down. Nothing too crazy off the very start of this. So this starts in a very normal manner to begin with. For now, at least. Get this underway. We'll see Reynor's Overlord will get to scout. We'll not see really anything of too much interest at the start here. Could maybe deep dive for the scout on the tech. That will be a possibility as well, of course. Finding my voice again after that last game. There's been a lot of reason to shout this weekend as well, guys. It's been, like I say, very fun. Very exciting, very back and forth a lot of the time, too. Robo facility coming online from Creator. Warp gate is setting up. The Nexus is down on the natural, and we all continue to build for the moment. Creator opens with a Robo, which is definitely a little bit different. Could be very aggressive off of just a Robo opening like that, right? Reynor will see the no gases in the natural expansion, so it's the perfect place for that Overlord to sit and notice, hey, why aren't you taking gas? Protoss like gas. If you're not taking gas, you're probably doing something weird. You know, it all starts to come together. You can figure things out for sure. Here, Lucky 175. Thank you so much for the first sub of the day. 27 months on the Prime. Welcome back. Thank you so much. This Overlord to me just provides too much info. I mean, you're just sat here, one Immortal into a Prism. Stalker's going to come across and now will poke this Overlord away. Okay. In a scenario like this, Reynor just obviously wants to be very careful with how much he does drone. Don't go overboard on that drone count or anything. As the Adept is there to nibble at a Zergling. Immediately pops down the Rotron as he sees that there's still no gas is taken. Oh, but as soon as he rescouts the gas, Creator actually goes Twilight Forge. Huh. Ling's gonna see the Prism too, so Reynor was... Oh, this is actually kind of smart from Creator, huh? He is going to get a second Immortal, but he's going Twilight Forge. He's now taking his extra gases, and the Overlord hasn't triple-checked the Scout. So, the game is actually very, like, because Reynor looks at this, and he probably feels like, it felt, at least for a while, like this was very kind of aggressive. The timing comes across the Prism. It could really be a bit of anything. I think he realizes now there's no units or Immortals in that Prism. He saw just 2 Adepts warp in, so he's not really concerned anymore about what's going on, so he continued to drone, but he was definitely worried. And then it did feel like, you know, Creator tried to play a little bit of a trickery on him. And now we kind of continue through, and Reynor drones as, well, I mean, this is going to be, what, 8 gates Immortals charge? So now almost Creator's luring him into a false sense of security again. Took these gases. Oh my goodness, this is kind of a bit crazy. Oh my god, he took the gases on the natural and he stopped mining the gas in his main. The mine games are really phenomenal. I mean, Reynor starts to make some roaches now. His lair's gonna finish. He's still not had, I mean, he has a Ling scouting at the front, but he's still not had perfect info. I feel like Reynor might be tempted to start making some more drones, but he's not going to. He's gonna hold his plan on that one, if there ever was part of his plan. He's making Roach Lung. He knows this. He knows something is up. Knows something is up. Here we go. Just gonna start moving forward. 4 Immortals in this. Obviously, this is only 38 workers. This has to do damage. Charge will be done. What won't be done is the +1. It's a full wall off, so the Lings that are setting up the counterattack shouldn't be effective unless he's got a Dropper Lord. That's an Overseer. I just saw it on the base. He sees the Twilight, he sees the Forge, but this army shows up on his front doorstep at the same time. Frey's going to knock down the set of rocks to begin with on this. Take those down. A few of the Lings move forward. Obviously, at this point, Reynor knows just keep on going. +1 will finish shortly, though. Unless there's some crazy contamination play. 5 seconds. It's Blizzard seconds as well, so it's more like 3 seconds. And we're going to engage in. Force fields go down. Trap a couple of the units forward. The Zealots will do a lot of the tanking here initially. Corrosive Bile breaking this down. As we drop a couple more force fields. Creator's army, I mean, these Immortals, I'd really believe in them if Creator had shown us some better Immortal micro so far. But he's been a little bit... I think one of the biggest things for Creator is that his Prism hasn't been comfortable coming forward out of the warping position to micro the Immortals a lot of the time. And that's dangerous, as this fight is interesting as well, because 2 of the Immortals are kind of missing, but he fixes it. Reynor's in trouble because he's got to play around the ramp, so moving down the ramp into this is going to be very tough. Creators continue to get warp-ins. There's no real anti-air against the Prism anymore. There's also no Corrosive Biles to force this all back, so the Immortals, the Prism, it doesn't have to move. The Prism moves back away from the Queens, gets a few more Zealots here. The Immortals still standing strong. And so far, this looks pretty good for Creator. Reynor is signed. I think Creator might have actually been able to do this. It's looking good for him. These Immortals, save that one, just misses the pickup on it, so one of them goes down. As obviously Reynor's third base is somewhat sacrificed here. That's not good. Going down to 2 bases against this does not seem like a good, solid plan. Reynor is sat in the center. There's no more Immortals coming across the map, though, so that's not really an issue. As Creator's just been warping in additional sentries. The 3rd hatchery will fall. That will indeed drop. So 3rd hatchery goes down. Extra Zealots will be warping in. An extra sentry as well. All continuing through here. Man, I mean, now Creator's army is obviously just larger, and at this point can probably just take whichever fight he wants. There's a couple of Biles now available, which is obviously good again. That definitely helps, but, I mean, these Roaches coming in from the other side. Force fields, a little bit late. Actually traps a couple of the Roaches. Just needs to keep the Immortals in the fight, right? As long as Immortals are whacking Roaches here, they are generally going to be okay. The Zealots are trying to wrap around from different sides. The Roaches on the back end go down. Reynor types GG, and Creator at least makes it 1-1. He makes up for what could have been one of the blunders of the tournament in that first game. But he gets the 1-1. Reynor and Creator both lose a life. And we're probably going to see TVT up next.